What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show, the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. I am Justin, here with Meelz. What's up, Meelz?
What's up, man? We are here. Brand
Not
new week.
much.
We are in August. Um, the year is just flying by. It's the best time of the year to be unemployed. Um,
It really
except when you
is.
feel yeah, except when you fill out job applications and you realize that most people are probably going to be taking vacations this month. So
Oh yeah, that is true. Huh.
I was just like, I'd responded to an old email following up for an update on something, and she was just like, "Yeah, I was out for the week," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, fuck me, okay." Uh,
Sorry, my nigga.
sorry, buddy, but no, we have no updates. But
This is
here
so
we are.
dystopian to laugh at this. It's just,
Yeah, but what are we gonna do at this point, man? We got. I
you know, I
actually have.
saw, I saw like between all of this job stuff, like Trump like firing the jobs guy as if that nigga's lying.
He was like, Jobs has actually been the worst since 2020, and he's like, actually, you're fired for
Actually,
lying.
no, nigga, you're wrong, and everyone's feeling the crunch, and the people who voted for him are feeling the crunch, and people who didn't vote for him are feeling the crunch,
You
and
know, I got offered. Well, I won't say offered because I haven't actually got it, but I was an old job I used to work at, not the one that I quit because it was like toxic, but the one before that. Opened a role for a job I used to do that I don't necessarily want to do anymore. But I've legitimately been like, damn, this is good money, and I would know how to do it. But I really don't want to spend like 8 hours, 9 hours out of the day doing this fucking work. But I was like, you know what? I might apply for it. I might have to go back to the old me for a bit because I was like, damn, the pay is good, but I don't really want to do it.
yeah, I mean, that's how it be. It's like,
Yeah,
you gotta do what you don't wanna do to get what you just like
essentially.
literally, just like this morning. Like, I was like, "I gotta get out there, I gotta run."
There you go.
Didn't wanna do it. Terrible, terrible thing has happened this week already. Our AC went out, our motor fucked up on our
Oh
AC.
no.
90 degrees all week in the valley, and, you know, that sounds great. Oh, but here's the thing
Yeah,
though, it's not, like, immediately hot in the valley, like, it reaches a peak, right? So,
of
from
course.
around,
Yeah.
like, 2 o'clock to about 5:30 is when it feels like I could literally probably I'm gonna perish. I live in Dune. You know what I'm
Of
saying? Like,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to I'm going to die. In the
Please
nighttime,
don't
it's
talk
pretty
to
cool.
me. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Like, heat annoys me more than anything.
stop
Like,
talking to me, please stop.
too hot is crazy, okay?
Did
And
did I
so,
have that moment? I think I had that moment earlier this week. I must have been
bro,
outside, and I think my dad called
imagine
me, and I was just like, "Don't talk to me, please."
like, imagine watching SummerSlam night 2, because that's when I noticed that it was fucked up. Because it was
Mm,
hot on Sunday, and I was like, "Oh god, it's really hot, and I don't feel the air, like, blowing," and I was like, "Oh shit, so I'm gonna have to sit through this whole show in the heat," and I was just like, "This is pain. This is terrible." And then,
yeah,
like,
I wouldn't wanna sit through the biggest party of the summer, burning my ass off for sure.
exactly, like, it sucked, alright? It sucked, but we're getting it fixed this week. I'm gonna be fine, and I'm gonna be good right now. I'm under the fan. It's still about 70, low 70s right now.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Good for you. It's been a good weather this week. It hasn't been sweltering hot. Actually, both SummerSlam days. Sunday was hotter. I wasn't there though, so shout out to me. But Saturday was perfect weather to decide to take a trip to New Jersey.
Mhm.
Um, and I'll be honest with you, I don't go to New Jersey often. Last time I went to New Jersey, it was really just to grab my niece, who the people who she was busy with in New Jersey was like, "Yeah, we're not bringing her home. Just come and get her." And I was like, "Oh, great, thanks." So I had to go to Jersey, and figure out how to get her home. So this is like my first time recreationally in Jersey. So I went with Donnie. Yes, it did happen with Donnie. Um, so went with Donnie. we decided to so the whole thing was like, how do we get there without me stressing the fuck out? Because there's multiple ways to get to Jersey, but the only way I wanna get to Jersey is if someone takes me there. That's realistically.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Look at
but
you.
that is not the case. That's not the case. I have to take public transportation to get there. So, I met up with Donnie because we live in around the same area, believe it or not. Shout out to Donnie. He's just great, great gentleman entirely. Met up with Donnie. We took the train, probably like 30 minutes to the Port Authority. Then from the Port Authority, we had bought tickets for this coach bus that takes you straight to SummerSlam, like straight there. So it's like every person on this coach bus is a wrestling fan.
Oh,
It's
Lord.
about no, they weren't doing like singing songs and shit like that.
Okay,
Like not
alright.
no
Or
lame shit like
wrestling, I see what you niggas do out there, wrestling on the subway train, like,
that.
I hope y'all wasn't doing that.
Fuck no. So everyone boards this coach thing. We get on this coach bus and they take us from Port Authority straight to MetLife, like straight to the parking lot of MetLife. It was actually a pretty smooth ride, probably like 25 minutes. So all in all, going there was about still like maybe an hour and 20 minutes, which is like long, but like not the longest I've ever been taking public transportation. So we get there, and the first steps, I step off the bus and I look around and all I see is like black tar lot, random buildings, shit like I was like, so this is Jersey, huh? Like this is it. Walk down the lot, see some dudes in Hulk Hogan shirts. Saw a dude in a Vince McMahon shirt, which I didn't know was that's even
Yeah, we'll
worse.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
But get there and mind you, I was also stressed because I hadn't been confirmed that everything was a go until maybe like 2 hours before I actually left. So this is my life, right? Like my life is very organized. My life is very you know me, I like things done in order and things in a certain way, and I get mad if it's not done in a certain way. We had this whole conversation last week.
Yes, we did.
Um, so the mere fact that I asked on Friday and I was just like, "Hey, are we confirmed for this?" And she was like, "I'll get back to you." And then Saturday, I'm giving you the leeway of like 24 hours to respond to me. Just didn't respond at all. So then I had to like, "Hey, follow up. Like, are we good?" And it's like, "Oh, actually, let me like figure out. Let me call people." Da, 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 da. So we figure it out. We get there, call people. Okay, it's a thing. Had to ask Armand, by the way. Shout out to Armand, also another goat in the making. Um, who I was like, Armand, just tell me where I need to go because everything is taking so slow and I gotta leave in like 2 hours. So you let me know as well. So we get there, we go through the press line, all the press that you know and love is there, and it's just,
A Show
hung out.
Press, A Show Media is there.
A Show Media is there. A Show Media affiliates Armand and Jeff J. Shout out to Jeff, by the way. Jeff is
Did Jeff claim us,
I think Jeff claims us for sure.
like,
Yeah,
publicly?
yeah. But
I gotta make sure.
Jeff, I feel like if I was just like, okay, I feel like he's trying to like how can we get on the floor? That's what it is in my brain. Like, how can we get outside? Because MetLife press room is not that extravagant. And I think one of the major problems I had with the MetLife press room is that I couldn't hear the crowd. So they're enclosed us in the suite, but the suite has windows, and it wasn't one of those suites where it's just like out in the open with the public. You could sit down and absorb the atmosphere. It was like locked in a room behind glass windows that did not open. So I didn't hear people booing for Trump. I didn't hear any reaction for Hogan. If someone was really popular, I heard it. But if they were not popular, then then I
Yeah,
didn't hear
I
any.
wanted you to see the windows shake when Cody came out.
I was not even there that day.
I know, that's what
but
I was saying, like,
but the But at this point also, like, we get there and we were, all the press is there and shout out to all the press kind of like doing God's work. We get there and it's towards the end of the show and we're like, yo, are we doing the post show? Like, is there anything? Because usually they tell you, right? From your experience, I'm
yeah.
assuming.
Yeah,
When you
they told us, if you wanna do this, they kept reminding us, "If you wanna do this, you have to leave during the main event." I
it was
somehow we managed to do both, which was kinda great.
but we were sitting there and the main event's happening and we're just like, "Yo, is there gonna be any post show?" Like, no one's grabbing us for anything. I don't even think they were there at this point. So, the show ends, or so we thought. CM Punk is the winner and, great moment and all this other stuff like that, and then Seth comes out, so we're anticipating all these other stuff, and then we're just like, "Oh, they must not be doing press tonight. They must be doing press tomorrow after the entire thing." So it was like, "Oh, they're probably gonna do it tomorrow." And then we kind of heard through the grapevine, like, "No, they're probably not gonna end up doing it at all." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Nice." The one time I make the damn press thing and it just no longer exists. So, um, took a long trip back from Jersey. It was much longer getting back than it was getting there. The let out wasn't too crazy on Saturday. I heard Sunday was crazy. Sunday was kind of nuts.
Well, how
Sunday
would
had
the getting out part is what I was concerned about, because I felt like both nights of SummerSlam, they ended it in a way where, like, you could legitimately, like, go home easier than you could at WrestleMania. And I heard no complaints about getting out, but I wasn't, to be fair, I wasn't really on Twitter all weekend like that. So, what was your
Sat
experience leaving?
Saturday, they got people out at a good time. So the main event starts at 8:30 and it ends a little bit before 9:30. By then, all the buses are there, all the trains are still running, all the people, thing. If you wanna stay for that little post-show shit and be in the background and yelling and shit, be my guest, but realistically, most people are going the fuck home. Um, Sunday, I know everything ended a little bit later, and one of the colleagues that I was working with, she low key got stranded. Mind you, it's like 10:45, and she's low key stranded um, because I don't think she had any tickets for the train. I don't think she's waiting for her Uber for like mad, 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 mad long. I think someone ended up saving her. Um, but it was just this Saturday, Sunday was more of the like, oh, there's mad traffic. Oh, there's mad this. Oh, there's mad that. But like Saturday, we got home. It still took me 2 hours to get home, which I don't approve of. Um, I'll never approve of 2 hour commuting. It's just it takes a wear and tear on you. Like it really, really does. Um, got on the A train and saw a girl spit on the floor. I was like, nah, get me off this train, bro. Like, get me out of here. I don't like this.
Yeah, well, I
um,
mean, at least it wasn't somebody getting super kicked on the,
no, but it was spitting, and then but also they were also entertained by this guy who's clearly like on whatever drug that he was, like dancing in the middle of the cart for like 25 minutes. Like, and I was like, damn, he's on that stuff. So yeah, we just decided to get off that train and transfer to another train, which took a little bit longer, but yeah, it was definitely a trip. And then so Sunday had a lot of family stuff, all this stuff. I didn't want to go through 10 hours of my life being absorbed by wrestling anymore. Um, in addition to all the family stuff and all the other stuff that I had to do. But then Monday, Raw, of course, Netflix with the hookup. Um, a great time, great environment, great atmosphere. Um, I had a headache midway through it because of all the lights.
'cause of the Rusev
Unf
match. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right. Uh-huh.
I had a headache through it because of all the lights, but it was a good time. I actually got to the bodega thing, the bodega setup that they had. They actually let me in this time.
Shout out to Sade.
Shout out
Um,
to Sade.
they always come correct on her team at Netflix. And she and I never expected it like to be like this, like for her to be such a fan. Because I
Mhm.
remember when she first got she first started working the account, and I'm calling the account like I'm at work. When she first started working with WWE,
Call
uh,
it count, nigga.
uh,
You
she
professionals?
she was, like, primarily, like, an old school fan, you know what I'm saying? And to see
Yeah.
her, to see her become just, like, a fan of, like, the new school and the current
Oh,
generation
she's
of it,
into it.
she's into
She's
it.
watching the main event, like,
Yeah.
the whole Becky and Nikki promo she's going off to. Like, it was she's into it. A lot of
Yeah.
people were into it.
Totally into it, and again, like, shout out to that team at Netflix. They work really hard, and this is clearly a partnership that's, like, become they're fa you could tell they're fans of each other, you know what I mean? You could
Right.
tell WWE loves being there, and Netflix loves having WWE there, and it's a activation that I don't even see I've never seen Netflix kinda get behind in a way, like, since, like, Squid Game or something like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And to be honest, one of the best things is shout to Sade, just kind of like with all the outreach and stuff. This is like there's not suites full of black people watching wrestling.
yeah.
And the last 2 times I've gone with MSG and Barclays, it has been full suites, almost damn near 93% black people enjoying themselves. I was sitting next to this woman, I think she said she was a senior editor of Today, um, and she didn't know what the hell was going on, but she was there, and she was enjoying all of it. She kept asking me who this person was and if they were famous, and I'm like, "Nigga, you are here to watch the show. They are
Yeah.
famous." She asked me if Rusev was famous, and I had to go, I was just like, okay."
I should have been there.
I said, "I mean, he
I
on
said,
TV, right?"
come into my office real quick. Let's have a conversation about, Rusev Mashka,
They took
Alexander
pictures
Rusev."
with everyone at the meet and greet and then asked me who they took pictures with, and I was like, "Bro, what? Y'all just do this? You
I
just take
mean,
pictures of people?" They took
that's
pictures
what
with
it is.
Natty and fucking Jey Uso and New Day, and they're like, "Alright, then who's this? Okay, so do New Day, do they have separate names?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, one is
Um
new and the other is day, and you shoulda just
I didn't want it to end up being published in like a Today report of like New and Day were former tag team champions and they are apparently grieving something. But it was a good time. It was a good time. Like Netflix, Sade, everybody usually comes correct with everything they have and the experience itself, WWE experience, and shout out to the WWE folks as well. Um Shout out to Greg who did me a solid. I had to do this. I don't know. I don't want to speak about it. Maybe I'll speak about it on Patreon. But he did me this solid that I got this favor from him and Jay Uso. So I'll talk about it maybe on Patreon. But really, really cool fire moment. So yes, amazing, awesome, great weekend. Tiring, but still here.
you ain't never did Mania weekend, nigga. Do Mania weekend with us.
I don't
You
even
won't
think
have
low key.
remember how I came back from Mania weekends, no voice?
Oh yeah, that's true. But we was in a I didn't want to scream. We screamed. We gave a couple reactions in the press room, but not too nothing too crazy. But stadiums is too like big.
Bro,
Like
you
it's
gotta you
too.
gotta be there the people, bro. The thing is like Mania 38 with the people was lit. Like you could ask some of our people who were in there from Discord, like Jalen and all the people, like it was lit. It felt like it was a party in that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's such a great atmosphere. Like I liked being in the press box. Like when I did the Netflix thing, like we ended up like doing the comp seats and shit because I was just like I don't want to be in no box. But like it it just feels good to be out there with the people sometimes, and
yeah,
especially when you're not around annoying people. Like I've been
absolutely.
lucky enough to not be around annoying people when I've been there live, so it's been pretty cool.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Also, I'll do a public apology right now. I know I don't really have to do this, but I'm gonna do this to
Eh?
Armand, Rube, and Duggar. So they wanted me after the show, but I had this fucking headache, so I wanted to breeze very, very quickly. So it's my fault.
Oh, you flaked on niggas?
I had the craziest headache, bro. I didn't even wanna stay for the
Jeez.
if the main event wasn't a world title match, I would have left for sure, and I could have left anyway, just judging how everything kinda shaked out.
No, it was a cool moment at the end.
It was a cool moment, that's what I'm saying, but, like, my head was banging, bro. Like, I didn't even sit in the chairs anymore, I just sat back in the back and just kind of, like, watched it from afar. But my head was banging, I just wanted to leave, I wanted to go. So, just apology to them. I hope we get to figure this out in the future, but just public apology to my guys. I saw him on earlier, but by the end of the night, I was just like, "Yeah, I wanna get out of here. My head is fucking killing me." And,
Well,
with headaches, I remember the last I did a headache during the show once, and I completely disappeared when, when Bosa was on the time before last time. I completely disappeared, like, it
both are on the time before last time is crazy because that he's on the show too much.
well
gives them the show too much. But shout out to both in our we got like a Power Ranger Discord chat and
Yes,
Wrestle chat. Power Rangers just announced on Fortnite today. I don't know if you saw that. There're gonna be Power Ranger Fortnite skins. We're
I
currently
did.
watching what a lot of us assume to be we do like live watches every month. So we're currently watching what I will probably presume to be the worst season of Power Rangers ever that we're
Which
watching right
is?
now. Power Ranger Samurai, which I feel as though if you were born in like around the early 2010s, that's your MMPR. Like that's your, you know, what it was
Um,
to us because it was like the restart of the whole thing. Um, but it's pretty it's pretty unforgivable, I'll say so far.
are any of the Power Rangers during our era notably, like, regarded as terrible?
Yeah. I think some
Okay.
of the ones during when we were watching were considered terrible. Like like
Like
season 3
Turbo
is
or some
pretty bad.
shit?
Turbo is pretty bad. Season 3 is pretty bad.
What's
Alien
season 3?
Rangers. Season 3 is Gold Ranger, I believe. Gold Ranger when Jason comes back to season 3.
Oh, okay.
That's considered pretty no, that's Zeo, never mind. Season 3 is, no, it's season no. Season 3 is, they're still it's when they're still using the old suits, but they're using footage from, like, completely different seasons of the show.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's when they were starting to
Ninjas,
run out of footage. Yeah, like, it's when they were starting to run out of footage, but, um, it
and they started replacing niggas?
yes, when niggas would say, "Well, I'm going to the peace conference," and then
Was season 3 alright, let me see. Season 3 was did the shit blow up yet? Um, was season 3 when the command center blew up?
Yes. Command Center, no. Yeah, I think so. I'm again, it's early, it's 10 AM. I gotta remember all this stuff, but
Okay, alright, don't yeah, don't trip,
I'm
you
pretty
know,
sure our team on Discord are yelling at me right now because I know all this stuff, but, like, you know, I'm doing multiple different things at once right now, so I can't
absolutely.
remember. But,
Also
uh well, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say also another, thing, congratulations to Dion and
Oh my
Milan.
god, yes.
Dion and
Yes.
get come on, man, look how far we've gone with this guy, man. Dion's getting engaged. What are we doing with our lives? I mean, you're married. What am I doing with my
What?
lives? I'm
I was
sorry.
like, "Wait, what am I doing with my life?" No,
I
listen,
forget.
Dion, man. I said this to my other boy, Wes, who got engaged earlier this year. Lay it on me, bro. Any questions, any, you know, any concerns, worries, let me know. I've been there. I love to see love. I love love. Uh and you know, I'm here for you guys when it comes to the wedding planning and all that stuff. I'll tell you this right now. Get a fucking day of planner. That should be the first day you get. The first thing you get when you
Mm.
get married. Get a day of planner. I don't You don't really got to get like a wedding planner all together. You could do it out of a book, like me and my wife did it out of a book at first before we got a planner because we just determined it was going to be way too much for us to do between our jobs and everything. But get a day of planner. I promise you, your wedding will go in light speed. You'll never even worry about anything.
Shout out to you. You're just blessing us with tips, man. Just
Day of
wedding
planner.
tips.
Day of planner is worth the money. Do it.
Good for you. Good for
Day of
you.
planner is lit.
All right. What do we got to talk about? I'm sure people actually want us to talk about all the things that have happened this week in pro wrestling. And
I think I think we should circle to the big thing and then circle to like the show stuff if we got time. Um I mean I guess like the big thing there's two big the show ended both nights on two huge returns, two
yeah,
huge denouements. Like it returned on two, you know,
I was talking to
statuses of
Armand. I was talking to Armand. I was like, they probably couldn't have done both things on one night if this was a one night show.
but it actually made it better. I thought, you know, and I'll say this again when we talk about the show. Um I felt like uh I felt like this was a better show to me top to bottom than Mania. I felt like it flowed
Oh yeah,
better. I felt like the matches were better. I felt like the heat was better. I felt like
the in
every
the integrations weren't too heavy,
no,
like
yeah.
as usually they are. And not to say that they were bad before, but you would go like 20 minutes without before a match, but they would be talking about this and this, that, and the third. So it was a good time for sure.
Yeah, like it feels weird to say this considering what we're about to talk about, but it felt like an apology for what happened in April. It felt like it like very much so because it had all the things that we wanted. You know what I mean? It had the intrigue, it had it had the stipulation matches. You know what I mean? That we were saying some of the matches needed. You know what I mean? Back
Right,
in April.
right.
And I said this to you, Mills, and I think we always forget this come August. Triple H really kind of books August to August and not April to April.
Mm,
I like he's been doing this since 2022. That moment I always call the opening 35 minutes of SummerSlam in 2022 like some of the best shit you've ever seen. You had a
yeah.
fantastic match, and then you had a completely shocking ending that capped everything off and started the show. And then you had that fucking match at the end. You know what I mean? Like it was just wild and crazy. Both nights gave you that. And it felt like the 2022 iteration of SummerSlam in terms of that being a show, except they did it twice. Um, so now it really felt like Meal. This was the real reset. And April was kind of like the beginning of the story that they were trying to lead to for August. So I thought I looked at the show in that terms, but I guess we should talk about like the two returns, I guess.
Yeah,
Um
let's talk about it.
Saturday, Seth Rollins after a fucking fantastic there's two matches that I feel like on SummerSlam are like hotly divisive and really being argued right now. That
Mhm,
being the Lyra Becky match
mhm,
and the Punk Gunther match. And where you
mhm.
stand on how these two matches goes really determines your kind of your enjoyment of the show overall. I thought Punk and Gunther, and you were there live, was phenomenal. I thought
Oh,
that
same.
it it was again, Gunther was already in the running for Wrestler of the Year. I feel like Punk is right there on his heels. I think they're both fucking fantastic. They both cannot miss right now.
I
Um,
think I think both men are very capable and, like, smart. They understand the crowd and they understand what they're working towards, and then they also understand big spots and stuff. Like, these were 2 kind of masters at work, and it was crazy that you had said, like, "Yo, this felt like ROH Punk," because I literally just said that out loud before I jumped in Discord and saw that you actually said it,
yeah,
because that's legitimately how I felt. It was building up to this moment. I mean, you had just kind of seen all the car crash and everything happen with the Logan Paul and Jelly Roll match with the tables and all this other stuff like that. So it was kind of building up. It was kind of like settling the crowd back down, but also building this main event feel with the things that were going on, and then leading and building to this kind of crescendo, which you're building to of like how can Punk kind of overcome who he's facing, which is the unstoppable Gunther, and how can he use kind of like his veteran, mind to be able to get through that. And what you saw on that stage was literally Punk. It was like peak Punk. It was like old Punk, but it was also like peak Punk, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
yeah. It really was. I mean, they pulled out all the stops, and a lot of love has to be kind of thrown Gunther's way. On his his second reign with his title. Really kind of getting into the like the big star matches that we felt like he should have been having. You know what I mean? Like the Goldbergs and the Punks and all of that happening in between that. Um, I think that him in the way that he built this match was fantastic. He beat the absolute hell out of this guy for almost 30 minutes. And it I felt every one of those chops. You know what I'm saying? And again, Punk did dog collar matches in AEW. He did all types of like these types of brutal matches. This felt like this was the most brutal of them all. You know what I mean? Just looking back at it, like this felt like this was the most physically intense of all of those matches that he was having back in AEW.
Right.
And I it just if it was done with intent. You know what I mean? It was to show that he probably had no chance until Gunther. And again, the story of Gunther has always been his hubris will always be his downfall, and it has
Yeah.
been his downfall. What is it? 3 times in the last 2 years.
Yeah, with the
Where
Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and CM Punk for
Yeah.
sure.
Like his hubris has always been his downfall. And his hubris ended up being his downfall. He did Punk did the and I should have noticed something was up with the chair, with the table flip. Because everything with Triple H is callbacks. So he did the callback to the Drew McIntyre thing at Mania 40. Gunther falls, busts his head open, busts his nose open. We don't know where he's bleeding from. He was holding his head but holding his nose. So it's like, which one was it? He comes out bleeding. Only blood you
Mhm.
see this whole weekend, which made it extremely effective, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then he comes out, gets hit. What did you feel about like Gunther seeing his own blood and saying, "Oh fuck, I'm finished"?
Well, I was locked on. I was so they finally actually turned on the TVs in this week for us to actually hear commentary and watch the actual show without being like, "Oh, I wonder," trying to infer what's going on. Um, but I thought the moment was incredible, and I thought it was one of those moments where when you're telling a story, you tell the point of like, okay, here is where things kind of turn around, and you're really etching that story. And I think there are two amazing storytellers in being able to tell that through this match, and adding that level of intensity towards it, especially if right if Gunther, he's out indefinitely. If you're going to tell the story that he's out, you need not to be like, "Oh, he's out because he lost," but he's out because he was actually, like, hurt and injured in this match, so I thought it was a great job.
Yeah, the two go to sleeps. They rang
The
off.
second go to sleep was I was like, I didn't know. I was trying to look, I don't know, I haven't seen the match back, but I was like, "Yo, did he, like was the blood go shooting in the air?" Like
Gunther spit. He spit in the
Oh,
second
okay,
one.
good, good,
He
good, good,
spit
good.
upward, but um, Punk pins him, wins the title, holds it up. I'm like, they lingering too long. I was
Go.
happy, and then I said they lingering too long.
But we had got on this podcast last week in our predictions for the show.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a cash in was out of the question
no,
because I think we had our suspicions like there hasn't been enough news about his knee for us to really to me it's like there's this anime rule. It's really unspoken anime rule. They're not dead unless you see the body.
no, that's a rule in horror movies too. That's a rule in
So
horror movies too. Yeah,
So with yeah, he was doing all the crutches and shit, but that wasn't enough like evidence to me to say like, yo, he's going to be out for a while. So, and then also during the opening match, the tag team match, they did this thing where I'm not sure if they showed it on TV, but the camera was really focused on Paul Heyman and that briefcase. Um, at the top of the ramp. I'm not sure if they showed it on TV, but I remember specifically because I was also watching Braun. He was coming out the side and he looked hurt. And we all anticipated he was hurt, but it seems like he's fine. Um, but they managed the thing, and I was like, something's gonna happen tonight. So I wasn't totally we were all waiting essentially for it to happen. We were waiting for the moment similar to Punk's debut, where it looks like it's over, and then you see the Titantron screen change and the music start blaring. And I
yeah.
think that was the moment we were waiting for. And, he a great, play on terms of coming out with the crutches, turning around, and immediately shedding those two crutches and shedding the knee brace and running down to the ring. That is wow. But
Uh,
how do you feel sorry, go ahead.
Masterful. That's how I
Mm,
feel about
mm.
it. Masterful. I think at the very least, me and your thought was it wasn't as bad as they thought, and
Yeah,
that's why the news stopped. Not he
essentially.
wasn't injured at all.
Right. But it turns out he
Like,
wasn't injured at all.
yeah, like I thought at the very least he pulled something. He was able to Superman himself back, and he's back.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Not injured at all is crazy because again, it takes a certain type of worker, and this is the era where it's really hard to do that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
see a lot of people like very like, oh, they got you, or who lied, who didn't lie. It doesn't matter
I'm
because
I'm trying to
everyone got.
how do you feel about it necessarily? Because it essentially was like it did all the things. It was essentially like, "Hey, we're working you guys." But also it was they did a lot to make it seem like it was real even down to the reports. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like I get the idea that trust may be some sort of broken with this, and
Who?
it but it didn't evolve to me, it was like, I don't know. Part of it was story, part of it was not story, but I guess it all ended up being story.
None of
I
it
was
is,
just
yeah, none of it is not story. I think that the thing about wrestling is that like there is like
But
a
the story
un
was the intent to fool someone. It wasn't like the intent to like think it wasn't
it,
like
it
because
was to
it
fool
didn't really
everybody. It was to
make
fool everybody.
yeah, but it didn't really make he didn't need to get injured to cash in the briefcase. That's why I'm like, I don't understand like the go around thing. It felt like more the thing was more intent to like fool people. It was like, ha ha, we're gonna make you think that we're hurt, but we're actually not. As opposed to like we're telling the story.
If you think of it in that sense,
Hmm.
Seth at the very least has been telling people this whole time to watch out because I'm coming for you. I think this thing with Punk is that he wanted to essentially fuck over Punk. That was the sense. Like the
Right.
story this year has been the three of these guys. And I actually think it actually is a good story, even with Roman like not being here for a lot of the year. The story has
Hmm.
been these three guys hating each other. And
Hmm.
I think that the main thing is that like Seth is just such a big fucking hater that he was willing to be like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this to happen, and I'll see if either Punk or Gunther comes out or comes out on top, and I'll do it. I think in terms of what WWE's plan was, we need a moment. We need for again, Seth is our big heel going now officially with Gunther out. He is our big heel, and Cena being face again. He is our big heel for the fall, probably all the way up to Mania Meals. You know what I mean? He's gonna
They
be
they
the biggest heel.
they put the
They
shit
needed
together. They put the shit together for WWE Unreal season 2.
Yeah, and for that, I feel as though the respect is due for him to get all of these big moments and to be on top at the end of the shows. He's been on top of two different main shows in this past year, which has never happened for him in the past like
Yeah,
decade.
but one could also argue like all this could have happened and he could have not like feigned a fake injury and done this entire
Who is it
thing, right?
hurting? It's not
I
hurting
mean, it's not
anybody.
hurting anyone, but it's like it
But you're
feels
you're answering your own
it's
question there. He could have
but
not done it and that would have been
right.
fine, but he did it anyway because he's an asshole.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's I'm trying to, yeah, I guess really believe that point, but it felt like it was this like big wrap, like you had to go lie to your family and lie to all these other people just for the extent of a storyline. Feels like the intention was more to fool people than I guess, but it also played into the story, I guess.
Yeah, like
That's what it felt like to me.
Becky was in on it.
Becky
His
was
kid
in
was
on it,
in
but
on
she
it.
had to yeah, but she had to lie to she just said she had to lie to all of her family members and say that yes, he was injured.
I mean, it's
You know what I'm
kayfabe.
saying?
It's like literally they lie every
Kayfabe
time they
dead,
walk out on
bro.
stage.
Kayfabe dead, bro. We saw
They
Unreal.
lie every time they walk out on stage.
I
There's
mean,
there's a sense that like I feel like from like reporters and even fans that I'm talking about in terms of the story that
yeah,
like
yeah.
they owe you something, and I'm just like, well, the thing is that no one's surprised by anything anymore.
I
Nobody's
don't think
surprised
they
by anything.
right,
Nobody is fooled by anything because you got people on websites telling you everything that's about to happen before it happens. They spoiled Blake Monroe's heel turn a couple weeks ago
right, right, right.
to a point where we're just like, all right, like, well, I guess I can't be fucking excited for that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I don't mind them getting one over on us because it happens so less often than you think, and they've had to come up with different new and exciting ways for this to happen. But if we had to go through all of that to get the moment of him taking off the crutches and the knee brace, then I'll do it 10 times over because that was fucking cool. That was fucking cool. Because when he walks away, you're thinking, oh shit, I guess he's just warning him. But then he doesn't do it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I don't want to get like wrapped up in the minutia of it because
No, no, no. I understand.
it's ultimately in service of the ongoing story that he's had with this guy since Punk beat him at Netflix in January.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
Ultimately, yes.
that's been though he gets the pinfall on Punk finally, which we were wondering if that was going to happen. But again, it was the long con to get what he wanted, to make people think that they were safe and they weren't really safe. And
Right.
that I think ultimately what was the goal there. And I think that in storyline he succeeded at. And I got to give a bravo to you know H and all of them for making for 24 hours at least the biggest moment of the year thus far.
But to me, it felt like I mean, it's in service of the story, but it also felt like there was, I guess, a motive to purposely fool certain people, yes, for the moment, but just to be like, "Ha ha, you guys stink at your jobs because we got one over on you." You know what I'm saying? That's what it kind of felt like. Because I know H is kind of like online a lot. So I know he wants to deliver this moment that's like unleakable, unthing, get you back to the moment, but also felt like part of the intention was just to kind of lie to people and fool them. But it did work in service of the story and it did lead to an amazing moment that we all got on thing. So that was that. Um, we should move to Sunday's moment and to kind of
Yeah,
talk about uh,
I wanna leave Punk and Cena in its own capsule here. I don't wanna put that with
Cena and
Cena and
Cody,
Cody, I'm
or
sorry, Cena and Cody,
oh,
sorry.
okay, okay,
I wanna put that in its own thing. I know we talked a little bit about the Gunther thing, but I
sure,
wanna keep I think Cena and Cody needs its own section, but Brock Lesnar's back.
okay.
Uh,
Um,
I wouldn't say to say conflicted is an understatement considering the 2 weeks that WWE has had. One with Triple H, I don't think we talked about the Triple H, signing a or being there for an executive order, basically political theater, because essentially all of it was reenacting some fucking physical fitness test that's been gone for fucking decades. None of it really matters. Essentially, that whole press conference was a takeaway from the fact that his numbers are tanking, the job market is awful, and he's a big idiot. Essentially,
can I say one thing that I had I'd shared my Hogan thing on my stories, and then one of my other friends commented because he saw the Triple H and Trump thing, and I was like, it's crazy because you just talked about how like certain things can affect people's just like legacies and stuff like that, and I don't think it's gone this far for age, but I think his proximity close to this regime of presidency will ultimately continue to hurt him if he continues to do that. And I think if this president that we have continues to hurt this nation with all the decisions that he's making, ultimately wrestling fans will see like, yo, that you you're associating with that. You were, da 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 da. And so I would always WWE has always done a good job at kind of like remaining apolitical. They'll tell you go out and vote. You know what I'm saying? But they'll never stand behind a president and say like, yo, um,
we're but to that point, right? To that
okay,
point, right? And I'll bring it back around to Brock Lesnar in a second here.
okay,
I'm gonna get on my soapbox real quick. So WWE and pro wrestling is a form of escapism for a lot of people, right?
yes,
It,
yes,
it's our reality show, but like the world, our reality has had to make way for this new normal that we're in, and that people are constantly fighting back against. And I
hmm
think that in a lot of ways, wrestling always reflects where we are in the world. So from the Attitude Era, where we were at, how wild that was in America at the time, the
hmm
strict conservativeness and the isolationism of like the Bush era, and now we're here where we're just as divided in ideology as we're divided by race and everything else. Everything is deeply fucked right now. Everything is so sensitive, and for me
hmm
and a lot of people, wrestling is our circus, but the world is a circus right now. You know what I
hmm
mean? So I think when I see, like you just said, like when I see people say like WWE leans this way or that way, and ultimately this is a company that doesn't stand for anything. Amazon doesn't stand for anything. Apple stands for nothing. They're right there at the
hmm
inauguration, and people, gave them rightful smoke for that. These are companies that stand for nothing. And I think
hmm
that it becomes more apparent as we grow up, but more apparent in the decisions that they make. And they can pepper it with as much altruism so people who work there can ultimately shrug and be like, well, at least they fucking support this, or, they support women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that is the case. So you can say that WWE's right wing, they'll always be able to counter with, oh, we have lots of people of color. We let Sammy wear Palestine tights. That's not us. You know what I'm saying? We're not right wing. You can say it
right,
isn't progressive, and they'll point to the women. They'll point to the integration with Mexico. They'll point to all those things just to say like, oh no, we love everybody, right? But
right,
it's
right,
not a company that's trying to sell an agenda. So much so that it's a company that's fallen a victim to too much. And when I say like too much, they're like, you want Joshi, we got it. You want work rate, we got it. Blood,
hmm
we got it. your problematic fave coming back. Yeah, that's cool too. And it's because the audience's attention span is so short, people will largely move on from that boogeyman in the room and move on to the next thing. So they'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, let's get another viral moment. Because if we can make everyone pissed, mad, happy, elated, reacting, we got them. It's like
Mhm.
the bad attitude era. It's the bad attitude era where we're at right now. So like I really implore people as we talk about this next subject, I implore people to find the joy in aspects of this shit, but please do not get attached. Because however the pendulum swings, wrestling will go with that. And I think people should not be shocked by that. So like with Brock, we know this Meals. That was a
Mhm.
win, not enough. It was a win, not enough. And they should make a statement. And they awkwardly
They made
tried to
one
on
on
Raw.
Raw.
They awkwardly tried to on Raw, but ultimately they won't if they don't feel like they have to in terms of like digging in deeper into what the fuck that is, right? They
Low-key, I felt
ultimately
like the low-key, I feel like the Raw statement was a retractment on what H said during the press conference,
it probably was.
which was essentially that John Cena wanted this, so we tried our best to make it happen.
But the thing is like because his return was such a runaway success, over 8 million right now and counting in just views, they have a polarizing conversation piece that people will continue to drive up search hits for and fans will tune into and think pieces will be made and people will essentially make money off of, which feels kind of scummy in itself. So
It does. It really
I I
does.
I think that as we talk about this, he wouldn't be back if
He
there
wouldn't be
wasn't
back if he was
betting.
anybody else.
He wouldn't be back if he was anybody else, but he also wouldn't be back if there wasn't any proper vetting as to what was going on in that case.
Yeah.
So if they felt like, oh, he's in the clear, legal said he's in the clear. Janelle Grant's lawyer certainly doesn't think he's in the clear, but
Mhm.
that's yet to be seen at this point. And it's honestly, by the time it goes into trial, he could realistically Meals be off TV at that point, like
Right.
because he's not going to be around that much anyway. So what
I
we have right
definitely
now, oh, I'm sorry,
no, no, go ahead, go ahead. Finish your point.
what we have right now is a situation where we, not only as people who, as I said before, react to this. We talk about this. This is a hobby for us. It's something that we support, and fans want us to talk about this. They want to see our views on it. We didn't talk about the Saudi shows for a while, and then we eventually did. We
Yeah.
didn't. We at length talked about why we wouldn't do it. And as those things opened up, we kind of relented and we started talking about it again. Right now, we have with Brock Lesnar. He is automatically in the biggest storyline of the fall and winter for this company. It's gonna be talked about. The people people wanted him back. You know what I mean? And like they wanted him back. There are people that are uncomfortable with him being back. That want to write the company off. That's completely fine with them. I'm not here to begrudge anybody for doing that. I think that what we should take into context and everything is that it's not them just saying like, oh, like we're gonna put somebody on here that's like, oh, we're just trying to fuck around. Like they're essentially, like I said before, they stand for nothing. So they're trying to get the biggest viral moment, and they did that. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't have done
Yeah.
that if they wouldn't have done that if they weren't going to be able to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still I completely understand and largely still accept all the things that are kind of like going on, but it still just felt I kind of was I after that I was kind of glad I didn't go on Sunday because I'm pretty sure I would have had a long train ride home kind of like rethinking about how I felt about this entire thing cuz it's just in no other industry, in no other person
NBA,
with this
NBA, Miles
eh,
Bridges,
right. Oh, well, yeah, you're right.
Miles
Um
Bridges. NFL does it too. Not saying it's
Or these
right,
public
but there's
no,
precedent.
not
It's,
saying
it's
it right, but
precedent.
there's definitely precedent, but it's like it's just a tough thing to I guess more so in terms of like I guess where my own personal values align, right? It's hard to like reconcile with the fact that like, you know, this happened. Like in no other industry are you sending or trying to coerce one of your one of your employees with sexual favors from this person and going back and forth with your boss. Like in any other situation, I mean, one boss was essentially fired, but you never know what's gonna happen. Um, and then this guy was essentially like put on ice, and then it was like, well, maybe it's cooled down a bit. Let's bring him back.
I don't think
It
it's like it's cooled down because it's not cooled down. I think that
it's
like
not. I mean,
this is
but
what I think. This is what I think. Essentially, in the documents,
why would he? Well,
in the
why do you
documents,
think?
they
Why do you
never
think
met,
he'd come back?
and she didn't. Like they said in the documents that they never met. And she didn't at the time say that she felt that he did anything illegal. So they're probably looking at that and saying, "Oh, okay, well, if that's the case, legal is that cool? Read through the documents as much as possible. Is there any chance that he will be called to subpoena? He still could be. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, let's just be clear. Like, this is not over. He still could be called to subpoena, but as of right now, he has not been called to subpoena or be called to testify in any way, shape, or form in this case. So legal probably looked at that and said, "Oh, okay, well, he'll be fine." Like Johnny Ace, it's always been on Johnny Ace and Vince. That's where it's been at, and that's probably why they looked at it like, oh, let's get legal to look into that and see if right now, a year and a half, 2 years after, this would be okay to do.
I mean, with this precedence, if it comes down to a settlement or Vince McMahon is staying free, likely he will be back too. I
I
mean, just
I I will need I can neither I can neither like guess or you know
I'm just saying from like I guess
it
it's
could happen.
it could happen is what I'm saying, and we'll all have to kind of like reckon with that because TKO, I mean, doesn't really care. Dana White is still whatever he does at UFC.
I mean Triple H was doing his best Dana White impression this weekend. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? He was doing his best Dana White
realistically,
impression this weekend. Like
avoiding the
I think
press.
that again, you have to look at TKO as another company. Again, this ain't a left thing. It's not a right thing. This is a profit thing for them. Like it's they just care about making money, and they
Right.
care about nothing above the dollar. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And if something's hurting that bottom line, they are not going to do it. If something is helping that bottom line, they're going to do it. And I think what it makes it even more easy for them to kind of reckon with this is that like Brock didn't come back as a hero. He's likely not going to be a hero here. So the
Mhm.
boos can be like, oh, they're not booing him because of that. They're booing him because he beat up John Cena, who just turned face. I had to question because I think the story we were looking at with the Cena thing was like, oh, is he just turning because he's gonna lie? And it's like, oh no, he's turning because like they finally found the angle for him to go out on because that's what I think is going to be the end game here for him is him versus
Really?
Brock. I
I
do.
felt like they turned him. I mean, I could see the Brock thing being end up leading to the turn for this reason. But I guess before that, I felt like let's dub this story really, really quickly
I think it
because
was all
there's
of those
nothing
things.
coming from it. Yeah. How did you feel about the face turn when it happened in real time?
Um, I was like this.
Everyone was skeptical, in my opinion. Like
We were
everyone was
skeptical, yeah.
skeptical. I wasn't skeptical. I thought it was real deal. All right, he's back. Like I was ready to be the fool. Um,
What happened was I had to go back after the match on Sunday and listen to what he was saying on Friday because I didn't take any of it serious. Like I took literally none of it serious. I was like, well, what did he say on Friday that even led to this? And it was, essentially like, you woke me up. You know what I mean? I'm just
right.
like, damn, I thought it would have been bigger than that. I thought they were doing it, but it was like, you know what? You know what? I didn't need the big. We've been saying it for weeks. Just turn him back face.
Yeah. And to
And
be
you know
honest
what?
with
That's
you,
fine.
align him with Cody. Stop putting him against Cody and leaving Cody in certain situations where he's
Yeah.
getting mixed reactions or booed or feels less than or whatever it is. Like align him with Cody. Um, but kind of like I know we didn't want to kind of like mix the two things, but kind of like going back to the Brock thing, I don't know how I feel about it right now, to be honest with you. I kind of accept these things are going to continue to happen and you kind of got to move with it, but I'd be lying to say it kind of aligns with my own moral compass on kind of like how things should go. I don't think you know, it's right or um acceptable in any workplace and it really jeopardizes how
what would absolve a Brock Lesnar right now? Because a lot of people are like they're acting like he like was like next
nothing
to
would
Vince. Like,
absolve for me, but I don't think he should
yeah,
be there. Like if you're willing to
I think that
engage, if
there's
you're willing to
people
if
I think
you
that there's people who have talked themselves into saying, well, He didn't do what Vince did.
Right,
And
but if you're
I think
willing to
that's their I think
engage
that's what they're aligned with.
if you're willing to engage in freak man shit with your own boss and, you know, look at people in certain fashions, it's like, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? Especially with employees of the company, like, and the thing is that Brock has enough swing and influence to be able to do whatever he wants, and Vince had enough swing and influence to be able to do what he wants. So where do you kind of stand in the middle of this? If in situations like things continue to happen in the future, like you have to kind of now my thing was like it wouldn't absolve Brock, but I just don't think he should be back. And I think, to be honest with you, for a large number of years, we've moved on from the idea of Brock. I think I looking kind of like forward with how he's going to be booked. I have no
The
idea how he's
Cody
going to be booked.
the Cody thing was, like, the perfect way to write him off. I thought him
Yeah,
like, Cody getting the cosign from I think he's gotten the cosign from, like, everybody but Rock at this point. Like,
right.
Cody getting that cosign, I felt like, after that match was, like, the perfect ending. Because the thing
But
is, like, didn't that happen and then right after he got named in the case? It was just like, "Oh, shit, well,
no,
guess he's."
he was taking a break and expected to be back from the Royal Rumble to feud with Gunther, but
Oh,
because
yeah.
the case came right before the Royal Rumble, he was pulled from the Royal Rumble. So then I
And the
think they
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they had to do a lot of things for that. So he was supposed to come back and he just never did.
I think they're
So
just
you
gonna do that.
I mean, yeah, I mean they would have to,
Yeah,
but
I think they're just gonna do that.
but I'm not sure where kind of like the booking of Brock Lesnar under Triple H. It hasn't happened often. Um, I don't know if I personally, if I were Brock, I mean, I love H, but being Brock, if I were Brock Lesnar, I, I don't know if I really trust him booking me because he doesn't really lean on people from the past. He kind of like
Oh, he's gonna be
really,
losing a lot.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
He's
Like
gonna be losing a lot. But I think that,
the,
like,
his only booking thing really with H was the Cody program, which was designed for him to lose.
was yeah, designed for him to, ultimately not come out on top. I mean,
Yeah.
what I mean,
And
yeah,
you can argue
just
even with Gunther, it probably was the same thing. I mean,
I
Gunther
mean
probably
it
would have beat him once, but you know,
ultimately, are we mad if he gets chopped like crazy and loses clean to
I'm not
Gunther? I
mad
won't be mad.
if he loses, but he's gonna be probably but it is at this point. He's also like 50 years old, so whatever.
Yeah, I
Um
don't see this I don't see this being, like, a long-term thing. I only see honestly, only see 2 real feuds for him, and that's Cena, and he'll probably show where Cena shows. And then after that, it'll be Gunther, and then you get that out the way, and then he should just leave. I think that'll carry you perfectly for a full 365 days, of which he will
until
only probably be
Minnesota.
around. Yeah, until he will literally only be around for maybe 20 dates of those, and there's 20 dates too much. But I'm just saying what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's two
No.
storylines for him, and that's Cena and Gunther, maybe the Rumble, and SummerSlam. He's out.
Um kind of I don't know if you wanted to move on, just kind of
Yeah, we
like
can move on. We can move on.
some quick kind of things. Um SummerSlam, just in general. We can kind of like talk about a couple of the matches. Maybe we can go through them very, very quickly as we
Yeah.
do on this free part. Um, SummerSlam 2025. Um, just real quick thoughts. I'm trying to see what are the big matches. I mean, the Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson to me was
It didn't feel 21 minutes. It went
no, it
21
didn't. It
minutes.
just
It
felt
felt like
fun.
it felt like it was, like, 7 minutes long. It was very, very action packed.
Yeah, and Roman did a lot of things that are not usually Roman, but you know, hey, I guess he's in his post championship era. Um, Speaking of post championship era, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defeat the Judgment Day for the women's tag team championships. How do you feel this? I mean, it's fun. The program is fun. It is. The people like them.
Yeah, they do. No, I'm fine with her in this moment that she's in. This is a great moment for her. It's fun. Fun little summer program, her and her girls.
She's having
Um,
fun. She likes being liked. You know, she's just she
well,
don't have to be the queen.
if she likes being liked, she should probably, proceed with caution.
That's awesome. Sami Zayn defeats Karrion Cross. Uh, Sami Zayn essentially kind of expunging himself of this carrying cross thing. There is currently rumors in the air that carrying cross's contract is up this weekend. So remains
I'll believe
to
it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I had a conversation with 4K. Don't worry.
mm,
We getting them back.
oof. Okay. Um
Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, people were so mad about this sprint, but I was like, this is what a Jade Cargill match is supposed to be like. It's supposed to be moves on moves and athleticism.
yeah.
That's what this was.
The in-betweens are still the roughest part for her. The in-betweens, the selling, the moving from spot to spot, all this other stuff is the roughest part for Jade Cargill. But honestly, she looked comfortable, she looked great. Um, Shout out to Jamaica. But
Tiffany
Tiffany
looked like
win.
Tiffany looked like a ring general in there. She was handling herself really well. I
I
think
thought so.
the ultimate test is always working with like a limited opponent.
Mhm.
And you know, as much as people want to be upset that like Jade lost, it's like this is still learning for her. It's still like a learning experience for her. She has to learn how to take these losses. She has to learn how to make the opponent look good and be made to look good in the process. I thought Tiffany
Mhm.
made Jade look like a beast. She almost lost. She got the visual pinfall over
Right.
Tiffany. It's just that
Right.
she made that one mistake. You know what I mean? And Tiffany having a reign that, in my opinion, I never thought a cash in winner would have almost well, over 200 days with the championship.
Yeah, yeah, she's continuing to rock, so it'll be interesting to see where everything moves in the fall, with her contenders and everything like that. Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul defeat Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. What did you think of Jelly Roll's performance in this match?
It was what it had to be.
It was shout out to the
Admi
3 other guys in my opinion.
yeah, admittedly, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it, but, shout out to
Same.
Jelly Roll for taking those spots, though. I think that it's very hard to, like you know what I think? I think that Jay needs to learn from him about selling.
Oh, but he was at
He looked
ringside for
like
like 5 minutes.
He looked like his dog died every time he got hit, bro. Like, he looked like literally
That's
you know,
country.
his animal was being hurt every time he was hit. Um, I thought that he, you know, for somebody who is not in the business, I feel as though he gained a lot of respect from a lot of those guys. So whatever we thought of his performance really doesn't matter because it looks like everybody he worked with and was around over the past couple of months absolutely loved having him around. So good on them, good on him. I'm sure he'll be back.
I think that ends night 1. How do you feel about Cardi B as well?
It was what it needed to be. That
She was
prompter
so
had to
close.
how big do you think the words were on that prompter?
Oh my god. Massive. I'm sure everything had to stop her from saying, "What's up, my niggas?" Summerslam, who's ready? Kick some ass.
Who pussy weather?
Oh my god. Shout out to the wrestling girl who's on Jocelyn's Cabaret. Where did
Oh,
you make that decision? Kira Hogan.
Kiera Hogan. I need to I you know what? I have you'll be proud. I've all but excised Zeus from
Look
my
at you.
life at this point.
Come on,
Yeah.
man. We don't need it anymore. Now they got real wrestlers on there. They're trying to start the division. Um, let's see. All right, night 2. Naomi comes out. Shout out to her dad, rocking her out to the ring, which was an incredibly cool moment. Um, Naomi comes out and she defeats Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I think to the surprise of no one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that wasn't a surprise. It was a great match
Yeah,
though.
great match. Now this 6-pack table ladders and chairs match. God damn.
Boy.
Woo! They
Stop
said
doubting this division, bruh.
nigga said we might never get on this card again. And it's true. So they went
Yes.
out. They went out like they were never gonna get on this card again. I'm glad they highlighted roughly the entire division outside of like Pretty Deadly, I believe. Um, which is a shame that they haven't. I hope Homeboy has recovered from his concussion. Um, but everyone
Oh.
went out. What's my man's name? The boy, the brunette and Pretty Deadly.
Oh, yeah, Kit. Yeah.
Um, I love this match. I love the Spanish fly through the tables. I
That was
love
crazy.
the Candice LeRae spot. Shout out to Candice.
Who
If you
would have thought
going,
that Phoenix took the most safe bump in the whole match,
hey
and
man,
Rexium took the
they
craziest one?
said don't hurt yourself. Yeah,
'Cause
they said don't hurt yourself.
I'm pretty sure Phoenix said, "I will do the Spanish Fly." And then Practice was like, "No, no, no, let's rock, paper, scissors it."
Yeah. Let's not fucking do that. But it was great. Champa hanging upside down from the belts. I was like, you are bugging your neck is, but it is what it is. Great fucking match. Becky versus Lyra. No DQ, no
This
count out, last chance.
this is the second polarizing match of the night. It's the second longest match of the night, but next to the main event.
25 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I didn't even I felt that it was long, but I didn't feel like Cena and Cody was 40 minutes. I was like, "That was a 40-minute match."
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
felt like this felt like more like
But
17, 18. But I guess I was just kinda it was so hot in my house. I was just like I was delirious.
yeah. No, so my only critique about this match, because I think both ladies did an amazing job. Well, actually I have two. One, it came after that TLC match, which was just
Tough
it
position to be in. I thought
it's
Solo and Jacob were in an even tougher position than that.
yeah, I agree, but they had an even dumber finish, but we'll get to that. I think I felt like there was a lot of gaga in this match, in my opinion. The I'm still not really thing with the wrists. Her, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to say being
The zip
handcuffed. Zip tie.
ties, the zip
The
ties.
zip tie. Yeah, the zip tie thing that really didn't even lead to the finish of the match.
The
So
zip tie thing was to really put Lyra over as the athletic demon that she is because she was pulling off a lot of shit. But I don't know if you like well, you weren't in the
I think
boxing, so you
it ended up making her look stupid because she couldn't get him off, and then she just kind of had to go under the ring and kind
well,
of
they
like
fell
figure out.
off. Well, they fell off her hands, and
Yeah.
because her hands are so small, Becky didn't tie them tight enough because I'm pretty sure I don't know if I'm not gonna call whatever they had planned, but there's a part where they're completely out of her hands and she twists them back in and wraps herself back up in like one motion. And I was like, how the fuck did she do that fast? But I really like some of the spots she did there with like the jumping like flying Mortal Kombat kick off the chairs. A lot of the stuff that she was trying to do, like there was a lot of desperation played up there. Um, I don't really I'm not gonna call her getting out of them. I was just like that's just a spot. You know what I mean? Like just is what it is.
Yeah,
Just
it's
move on to the
just
next thing.
I think it was that didn't really it was like multiple acts in a match. Um, but then the final act was the Bailey interference, which kind of leads to so you have that thing you're trying to tell the story of Lyra trying to get out, but she's also not the one with the massive stakes against her. Well, actually, I guess the Becky thing. She is the one with the massive stakes against her, but it's also like I don't know. The Intercontinental Championship was on the line. Sorry if I'm kind of like bugging out on this one, but it just felt like weird, the zip tie thing, not really leading to the finish. And then you have this whole other Bailey part that kind of like comes out. So you're telling two different stories within the same match. One gets wrapped up pretty early. The second one kind of leads to the actual finish. So you don't really get the resolution you would want in this like no DQ, no count out, last chance match. It just kind of, I guess, bridges to another story which they had on Monday, which was like, "Leave me alone. I'm trying to say out your vortex," and blah blah blah. So I thought it was a good match, though. They did a considerable amount of effort. Solo versus Jacob to
I think I
me
probably liked
was
their second match better.
I
Than
like I think maybe both matches better than this one. I just think in the middle of a card, it just loses in the middle of a
I
card
mean,
this stacked.
but also like fuck all that. Like the women barely ever get 25 minutes to do anything. So like
No,
whatever.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Also that, you know what I'm saying? But I just think in the middle of this card, it just lost a little bit after that match. It just lost a little bit of steam. Solo versus Jacob to me could have been a SmackDown main event.
That was a pretty
and
deflating finish. I think if you want to put Jacob to the back of the line, then yeah, he probably
but
shouldn't
then they
keep
had the
going as
Jacob
far.
look strong moment at the end. I was like, wait, why are you doing all of this after the match?
'Cause he's always gonna look strong, baby. What the fuck? He's always gonna look strong. My only concern is like what he does next. Like I think there we're at like stable capacity with Solo, where it's like the stable is so huge and there's so many guys in it that like they're I'm wondering why they're just not the champions of everything at this point. So
But
like
he
there had
keeps
to be
beating them
something.
up. It's Jimmy who's taking the ass whooping.
Yeah, like it just I don't know where they go from here. I also don't even know who beats Solo here for the title. Like I don't think that it's finished between these two. I
I
really
don't think
don't.
so either. But it, I see a few. There's a few more contenders for Solo. I see Jacob maybe trying to contend against Cody. Maybe he gets a match at the Rumble or something. Um, but I could see that for Jacob. But I'm not sure what his long term story is at this point. No, not at all.
There needs to be a
Um,
shakeup. I think there needs to be a shakeup though in that mid card. I think
I
we're
agree.
we're LA seems to be like off of SmackDown now. So like
Yeah, yeah.
it seems like it's different. It need to do something different. Dominique and AJ Styles
What a
really
great Eddie tribute match.
really great Eddie tribute match. I laughed a lot. I thought it worked for me. I was entertained.
Yeah, I was sports entertained. You know what I'm saying? Then the main event, Cody Rhodes, John Cena. It was every bit the epic that, to be honest with you, Cody Rhodes matches are.
Yeah, pretty much. That he's gonna give you the Cody Rhodes main event structure is so much
If he
different
asks
than
for 35, well, you're in for it, buddy.
that's what I'm saying. Like the Cody Rhodes main event match structure is so different than the Roman Reigns main event match structure that it's like it's not even funny. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we all know what a Roman main event is gonna look like. And now I think we all know what a Cody main event is gonna look like. Now I legit got chills from both of their entrances. Both of their
yeah, me
entrances were
too.
really, really good. The Dusty thing was very good. The Dusty thing was basically them saying, "I'm not turning heel tonight." Because I
Yeah,
watched it again and I was like, "Oh yeah, the view never changes." Yeah, he's not turning heel. We should have known he wasn't turning heel when he said that. He said
right.
literally the view never changes promo, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, he's locked in on this face shit." But they did a better job, Meals, of playing into the booze than they did at Mania, where you had Cody just taking offense for
Mhm.
25 minutes and looking like a doofus.
Yeah, and Travis Scott, and then getting kicked in the balls and all types of other shit. Like it, this was such a way more capable match, and just overall really, really good. Like it was main event quality, main event caliber. Yes, it had maybe too many kickouts of everything. Um,
But it was him passing on Super Cena to Super Cody like the Highlander. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, remember when the Highlander killed another one and everything exploded? His nigga said, "Ah, ah." Then he
and they
kicks out
didn't
at
ruin
two.
it. They didn't ruin it by everyone else kicking out of everyone else's finisher for the other parts of the card as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it meant a lot. But I thought that again, like it went into the fact that these are two of the biggest baby faces of all time, and Cena had to be a baby face for this to work. Because it's like, okay, he said he want the old Cena, Meals. He got the old
Mm,
Cena. He got Super Cena. And then Cody in essence was better. He was the
yeah.
better man. He kicked out of all of 8 AAs. At one point, the AAs probably just felt like fucking front flips to him. You know what I'm saying? Like there was one AA Meals where he was okay. The Cody Vader spot where he pulled it
Mhm.
when he was holding. Come on, tell me that's not a fucking memorable something you're gonna always remember for the rest of your life. That Cody
I'm gonna
Vader spot,
remember it for sure.
like that
Just
shit was fucking
it
great.
was funny. It was also kind of corny, but also funny.
Then how was it corny? That shit was fire. If that's corny, then what's not corny?
I don't know.
Exactly. So he fucking straight chucks that nigga on the ground. I was like, all right, man. I would have got up and slapped that nigga, bro. I was like, bro, you don't just throw me on the ground like that.
I would have been
Um,
like, "All right, how you getting down to? All right, now you gonna have to figure out how to get me down this fucking stage since you want to be tossing niggas. You know what I'm saying?
the,
Get
the,
your
the
50-year-old
avalanche,
ass.
the avalanche AA off the top pinfall. I bit. I was like, okay, so yeah, he's
Cena's best
losing.
match in 15 years. Just
Oh, 1000%. One,
it's
it
just
it
he looked like he's worked himself back into form, low key. But it
he
also
was
could have been a lot
tan.
of Cody.
He was tan. Well, he's probably tan because he's doing a movie and he's doing promo for Peacemaker in the next couple of weeks. But he's tan. He looked good. He worked a 40-minute match, which honestly, like at his age, is crazy. All right, like
Yeah.
Roman ain't even working 40-minute matches, and he's not even that old. Um, again, everything with this was fantastic, and they both seemed like they wanted to make the best match possible. And I don't know if they wanted to make up for their reception of Mania, but they made up for it in spades. I thought it was fantastic. Cody's salute at the end was a really touching moment. They got chills off of that. And he had to put his hero away. He pulled the trigger this
Hmm.
time. And I think what solidified the actual Cena heel, like Mills, I still thought he was gonna turn heel again until he picked up that belt and tossed it out the ring. I said, oh, he's actually a baby fan. I literally said, oh, he's actually a good guy.
I was ready to be a fool, bro. I was locked in. I was like, "Oh, he's turned face." I was just like, "Oh, this is great. This is now this is the match I wanted to see."
I didn't
Um,
believe it until 30 minutes.
I mean, I don't think that's crazy because I think that was the general thing. I was just like, "All right, he's a good guy again." Um, Also, kind of a few quick hits before we move to Patreon and talk about Monday Night Raw. Um, how did you feel about Cody? He finally opened up a little bit more on AEW. It's taken only 3, 4 years. Um,
I
I guess
mean,
3 years. He said
well,
he sat down with Bill Simmons on The Ringer and essentially said, "There's clearly bad love, but there's also clearly a lot of respect and love." But he left AEW because he felt disrespected.
that's a lot more than he said at first, right? He said, 'cause at first it was like something so bad happened that it made me leave. You know what I'm
I'm
saying? Like
not
he
trying
kept
to
saying
tank
it.
the company that I love. You know what I'm saying? Um, he says, "The way I kind of see it is if I felt disrespected ever at WWE, that's one thing. That's a company that was built. You know, that's the Yankees. That's the flagship of it all. If I ever felt there, I was just a number on a sheet, maybe. But feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends that we built, feeling disrespected there, I wouldn't stand for it. And I think Brandy and I both am so blessed to have her. It was one of those things where it was, fuck it. I did it way more than you think, and you're gonna find out the moment I'm out the door. Hey,
Damn.
listen.
I think the more that the AEW starts to kind of come off the rails, the more he feels a lot more comfortable with doing that. Which I mean,
But I think
your mileage
they
may vary on whether that's okay or not. But
right.
I feel like he should have said something earlier. But um, you know, I think that he feels wronged by it. I think that like they have kind of actively tried like let's be real, they kind of trying to lead him from the history books of AEW. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, because I think they really they did their line in the sand. I think Cody had a vision for AEW and everyone else had a vision for AEW, and they just chose their line in the sand. Um
and let's not act. I'm not gonna act like Cody was a hit there. Like we talk shit about him all the time on AEW. You know what
n-
I'm saying? Like he could
he
not read the
didn't
room.
fit there. Yeah.
Yeah, he could
Yeah,
not read the room there.
yeah. And as much as he tried and he tried, he put himself through flaming things and jumped off of 50-foot high steel cages and he tried his best to kind of like also acclimate to that style, but he's just WWE. I guess it was just too WWE, and he was pretty much the first one of a bunch of major jumps that kind of head over there because to be honest with you, they didn't really fit the mold of whatever it was supposed to be, and they also didn't respect him. I think there's a lot of disrespect that comes with people that end up leaving from there. No
And I
one
think there
leaves
was
from there if
disrespect
they're
to his wife
happy.
too. And I think it was
Yeah,
disrespect to his wife too. Like
I agree.
we talk shit about Brandy, you know what I'm saying? We talk shit about a lot of people there, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna act like we was all in on Brandy, but like it shouldn't come from internal, you know what I mean? It shouldn't he shouldn't I think he's like alluded to or she's even alluded to them not really protecting her in certain spaces, you know what I mean? And that's important as well. Um I'm not mad at that because I think that like, the fans or the tribalistic people can get mad at it all they want to, but like that's his company. You know what I mean? Like he can say whatever the fuck he wants to say about it, you know? So
Absolutely. Final thing, thoughts on WWE Unreal? Did you get to finish it?
I did not finish. There's just so
Wow.
much stuff we're watching. I'm sorry.
You too
I'm
good enough to
I
fucking finish on the 5 episodes of fucking Unreal? You can't finish that shit?
I'm on what's 4 is Elimination Chamber? I'm on Elimination Chamber. I'm on that. So I'll
Okay.
let you guys know next week. I'll finish it.
Alright. Did you at least get to the Chelsea Green episode? Did you
I
love your
did.
Chelsea?
I did. Me and my wife were annoyed at Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is like my wife's like, "I work with people like her. I'm annoyed. I'm fucking annoyed." I was like, "Yep, mhm."
All right, let's talk about it next week then, since we're kind of
Okay.
like out of time on this part. Let's talk about
All
next
right.
week when you wrap it up, and we can really go into it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We're gonna wrap it up real quick with Raw on Patreon. So thank you guys for listening to the A Show, and we'll see you guys next week where we don't have a show to predict. Thank God. All right.
Come on now. Thank God. Happy Rusev Day. Shit.
Oh God, yeah, that's getting cut. Peace.